Hello everyone, in this video I will build a simple VoIP network from scratch using Cisco Packet Tracer. VoIP simply means voice over internet protocol. It allows telephone to travel through IP network instead of using traditional telephone line. So in this video I will use one Cisco router, one PoE switch, two Cisco IP phones, and also two laptops. At the end of the video, or at the end of our lab, we are going to test if our IP phone 0 it can call IP phone 1, and the IP phone 1 it can also call IP phone 0. So we are going to give each phone an extension. So our IP phone 0, the extension will be 1001, and the another phone, IP phone 1, the extension will be 1002. So this is what we are going to do. So let's test it here. The phone 0, it has the extension number of 1001, and the IP phone 1 have extension of 1002. So for us to call IP phone 1, we need the extension number of IP phone 1. So we're going to write it here on IP phone 0, which is 1002. This is the extension number of IP phone 1. So let's try to call it. So the IP phone 1 now is ringing. So we're going to receive the call from IP phone 1. Now it's connected. So let's go and also try to call IP phone 0 using IP phone 1. Then we write the extension number of IP phone 0, which is 1001. So it's ringing. So let's try to answer it. It's connected. So this is what we are going to do. We are going to start from scratch. So we'll be writing everything together until we build a lab, completely lab like this. So now I'm closing all these tabs. Then we'll start our own from scratch. Alright. So now we're going to add our devices that we'll use on this lab. First, I will add the devices required. I'm using Cisco 2811 router because this router supports the telephony service command in Packet Tracer. I will also add the Cisco 3560 25PS multi-layer switch. This switch supports power over internet, also called PoE, which allows the switch to provide power and the network connectivity to the IP phone through the same Ethernet cable. So after that, I will add two Cisco 9760 or 7960 IP phone and two laptops. So now let's add them from our router. So on the router we are going to take 2811 router, which is this one. then we drag it and drop here. So now we are going to take the switch, which is multi-layer switch 3560, go to switch and find 3560, this one, then you drag it and drop it here. Then we're going to add IP phones now. We will need 2 of them. We drag another one this side and another one here. So now we're going to add laptops. Here's the laptop. We drop it here, we drag it here and drop it here. So now we're going to connect them together so that we can start with our configuration. So now we are going to connect our router and our multi-layer switch. So we go and click on this connection icon, then you will choose the copper straight through cable, then we click on the router, then we are connecting it on this interface. On our multi-layer switch, we're going to connect it in this port, gigabit Ethernet 0/1. Now we have connected our router and our multi-layer switch. So we're going to connect our IP phones to our multi-layer switch. So we're going to take the cable, copper thread cable, connect it to our first interface of our switch, to our phone on this port of switch. We take another cable, fast Ethernet 0/2 switch. Then we have connected our IP phones to our multi-layer switch. Now we are going to connect our laptops. So we do the same. So now we're left with one interface here of PC. So we're going to connect our cable here to the laptop. Now we've connected our devices together. So what's left now is to configure our router so that those red arrows can change to green. So what I'm going to do from here, I will separate laptop traffic and telephone traffic using 2 VLANs. VLAN 10 will be the data VLAN for the laptop. VLAN 20 will be the voice VLAN for IP phone. The data network will use the IP address of 192.168.10.0/24, or you can say 255.255.255.0. Separating data and voice traffic makes the network easier to manage and can help improve the call quality. So now to configure our router or our switch, we can start with our switch. So now I will open the switch. Let's open our switch, then select command line interface, enter the privileged mode and enter the global configuration. So here you press enter, then say no, you press enter again, then we are going to write enable so that we can be on privileged mode. Enable. Now let's go to global configuration mode. We write configure terminal, or can just write config t. Now you are on the global configuration. So now we're going to write to give it a host name. Let's give it our host name. So you write host name, then this will be our host name, VoIP SW1, then press enter. So now you can see it changes. It's no longer writing switch, now it's changed to our host name. So now we're going to create our VLANs. I will create VLAN 10 for laptop and VLAN 20 for voice traffic. So now let's write our configuration for VLAN. To create VLANs, we'll start by needing VLAN 10, VLAN 10. So we'll name it data. This one is for data. So the name data. Then we exit. Now we're going to add another VLAN for voice, which is VLAN 20. Enter, then name voice. Now we have added our VLAN 10 and the name is data, and VLAN 20 the name is voice. So we're going to configure the trunk port, the connection between the switch and the router is trunk. So the trunk, it allows multiple VLANs to travel through one physical cable. So going to exit here, then we're going to configure our trunk port. So what we're going to do, we're going to write the interface. This is where we connect our cable that connected router and switch. So it was interface gigabit 0/1. You can write interface or you can write inter. You can write it in full saying gigabit ethernet 0/1, or you can just write gig 0/1. Then we're going to enter our command to encapsulate our trunk mode, which will allow VLAN 10 and 20 to pass through. So the command .1q is select the VLANs tagging methods. The trunk is allowed to carry VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, the one that we recently created. So now we're going to write switch port trunk encapsulation .1q I made some mistake. me check. Switch port, trunk, calculation. Is it the correct spelling? No, this is not the right spelling. Calculation. Yeah, I think now I got it correct. Okay, so now we're going to add switch port mode trunk. Then we're going to allow VLAN 10 and VLAN 20 on this trunk. So we're going to say switch mode, switch port, trunk, loud, VLAN 10 and 20. Again, we had another mistake. There's a space here between VLAN 10. So okay, so we're going to say no shutdown. Then we exit. Now we're going to configure the phone ports, the two switch ports connected to our IP phones. So let me show you where our phones are connected on our switch. So here is our switch. As you can see, we connected on the first interface here of our switch. So this one is connected on our second interface of our switch. So now let's give it configuration. So we're going to those interface to select those interface range. First Ethernet 0/122, or you can just write first 0/122. Then switch port, switch mode, access. Then we're going to access VLAN 10, and we're going to also allow VLAN 20 on these two interfaces. So switch port, for is VLAN 10, VLAN 20. So now we'll start by VLAN 10. Then we're going to enter another one for VLAN 20. no, we made mistake here. Instead of voice VLAN is VLAN 20, and access VLAN, this one is for data, which is VLAN 10. So let me rewrite it. VLAN 10, this one is access, and VLAN 20, this one is for voice. Okay, that's it. Now I'm going to enter this command, spanning tree port first. This command, it will allow the port or the interface to start as fast as possible. So there's no delays that will happen. So let's write spanning tree. It's not writing. Spanning tree port first. Then you can say no shutdown. No shutdown. Exit. Then we're going to save our configuration. You can type write memory, or you can just type this configuration WR. So it says invalid input because we are trying to save on configuration mode. So let's end and try to save it here. Now it's successful building configuration. So the voice LAN 20 and the voice LAN 10 now is configured on our switch. Through the laptop and the phone share one switch connection, their traffic is placed in different VLANs. So now we're going to configure our router. We can configure our router, or before that we can check or confirm that the VLANs we created is successful created on our switch by just writing the command. You can write show VLAN brief, and another one you can just say show interfaces trunk. Let's do this. Show VLAN brief. As you can see, now we have our VLAN 10 and VLAN 20, and they are active, as you can see. So now let's move to our router configuration. So now we'll configure our Cisco 2811 router. I'm going to open it. I'm going to command line interface. Then you press enter. You say no. Enter. Then enter the privilege mode and then enter the global configuration mode. So enable and configuration mode. So now I will enable the physical interface connected to the switch. Remember, our router is connected through this interface to our switch. Okay, now let's come back to our router again. So the interface is 0/0. So I do not place an IP address directly on the physical interface because I will create sub interfaces for those two VLANs. So now I'm just going to write no IP address, no shutdown. Then we exit. So now we're going to configure the data sub interface. This will be for VLAN 10. So we're going to write interface first Ethernet 0/0 and 10. This one is for VLAN 10. Okay, you can see now it changed state to up. Okay, press enter, then encapsulation again .1Q10. So we're going to write this spelling .1Q for VLAN 10. Now we're going to add the IP address now. IP address, which is 192.168.10.1. Then subnet mask, you can just write /24, or you can write, you do a space and say 255.255.255.0. Then you press enter, then you do exit. So this address becomes the default gateway for the laptops. Then from here we're going to configure the voice sub interface. This was a sub interface for VLAN 10, which is for data. So now we're configuring the sub interface for voice VLAN 20. I'm going to do the same. So it's interface fast, or let me try this to be fast. Interface fast. This one is for VLAN 20. It changed state to up here, so you can see. Okay, press enter. Then encapsulation. This one is for VLAN 20. Enter. Then IP address. So the IP address now will change. So instead of 192.168.10.1, it's going to change here. We said dot 20 instead of dot 10. Yeah, we change it to 20. That's it. Then we press enter. Then we exit. And now this address becomes the default gateway for IP phone. So this design is called router on a stick because one physical router interface carries traffic for multiple VLANs. So now we're going to write our DHCP configuration. Exclude reserved IP addresses. Exclude reserved IP addresses. Now I will configure the router as DHCP server. Before creating DHCP pool, I will reserve the first 10 addresses in each network. So now let's go and do it to reserve the IP addresses. So we're going to write IP DHCP. Then we are excluding the IP address from 192.168.10.1 to 192.168.10.10. DHCP exclude address 192.168.10.1 to 192.168.10.10. Now we're going to exclude the one for VLAN 20, which is, let me use the previous one and edit it so that it can be fast. Okay, so the IP address here we excluded is 192.168.20.1 to 192.168, not 169. We made some mistakes. Okay, let's fix it. The IP address is 192.168.10.1 to 192.168, not 169. Let's first change here. It's 168. It's 168.10.10. So we'll change all of them because we already made mistakes. 192.168.8. This one is for VLAN 10. VLAN 10 starting from 1 to 10. Okay, this one correct. So now let's go to VLAN 20. VLAN 20. VLAN 20. And that's it. Okay, this prevents DHCP from assigning important addresses such as default gateways. So now create the data DHCP pool. The first I will create the DHCP pool for the laptops. So let's go into it. So I'm going to say IP DHCP pool data. Then we press enter. Then we'll give it the IP address, network, let me write small letter, network 192.168.10.0, 255.255.0. Now the default router will be default router 192.168.10.1. And now our DNS server, we will just write it like this: DNS server 192.168.10. Oh, this can be our DNS server. So let's write it like 8.8.8. Our DNS server, it can be on the same network with our IP addresses of this network. So let's just write it like this: 8.8.8. So then let's exit. So this pool gives the laptop an IP address, subnet mask, default gateway, and DNS server. So now we're going to create DHCP pool for IP phones. So this one is for phone. So it's voice. our IP address. Yes, 20. I just change here. Then our default router, is 20. 192.168.20.1. So this is the most important command in the voice pool, is option 150. Option 150 tells the IP phone where to find their telephone configuration server. So I'm going to write it like this: option 150. Let me write in small. 150 IP is 192.168.20.1. So let's exit. So in this lab, the router at 192.168.20.1 is both the same default gateway and the VoIP server. So call manager express configuration, start the telephone service. Now I'll configure the Cisco call manager express on the router. Call manager express manages the IP phones and their extensions number. So let's start by saving this. Let me write end and write memory. Okay. So we're going to configure the call manager express. So let's go ahead and do it. So it's enable, config T, then telephone service. Telephone service, then maximum equals 2. So the IP source address will be 192.168.20.1 port 2000. So it's IP source address 192.168.20.1 port 2000. Then we exit. So the max phones command allow 2 physical IP phones. The max DN command allows 2 directory numbers. Directory numbers is another name for telephone extension. So since here we are using 2 IP phones, that's why we have directory number of only two. So the IP source address tells the phones that the telephone service is running on 192.168.20.1 using port 2000. Then from here we are going to create the extension of our IP phones. So now let's create the first extension. So to create it, you write ephone SDN1. Then now the interface state is up. So now let's press enter again. So now you write the extension number 1001. This is the extension number of our first phone. Enter, then exit. Then the directory number 1 will use the extension of 1001. So now let's create another extension of 1002. So our second extension, our extension number now will be 1002. Then we exit. So now we have add our extension numbers. So now we are going to assign the extension. I will configure the router to assign those extensions number automatically when the phone register. Okay, so let's write it. Telephony service, then auto assign 1 2 2. Then now we're going to create our CNF file. So the auto assign command assign directory number or extension number 1 and 2 to the phones. So and another thing is when we create CNF file command, it create configuration file that the phones download when they start. So now let's go and save our configuration. And write memory. Okay, now where we saved our work. So now I'm going to test the laptop, configure the laptop with DHCP. So now I will open the laptop and try to check if laptops can get the IP address from DHCP. Let's go and test it. So now you see the red lines here between router and switch are gone. So now let's go and test our laptop to see if they can receive IP address from DHCP. You click on the laptop, then you go to config, or not config, desktop, then IP configuration. You see now is on the static, so we need to change it to DHCP so that we can see if it can receive the IP addresses from DHCP. So let's come and click here on DHCP, requesting IP addresses. So let's wait and see. So what we can do now, let's go and disconnect our phone and disconnect another phone so that we reconnect it, so that our issue will be resolved. So I'm going to disconnect this cable and this one and wait for a few seconds, then we'll reconnect them back. Okay, let's connect them back. Okay, now let's try to test them again after we restarted them by disconnecting this cable. Now let's go to IP phone. Now our phone is connected, successful. Okay, let's go and check another one. Our phone is connected, successful. So let's go back to our laptop and see. Oh, perfect. They received the IP address. The DHCP request successful. Let's go and test the laptop one now. DHCP request successful. So okay, let me copy this IP address, which is 192.168.10.11. So let me try to ping it using this laptop and see if you can ping successful. Ping 192.168.10 dot 10.11. It says the destination host unreachable. Okay, let me check the, oh, I made a mistake on my IP address. 192.168.10.11. Yeah, you can see now 4 packets sent, 4 packets received, so it's successful. So now let's try to call this, the phone, IP phone 0. Here's the extension number. Let me write it. Not this one. I need to press note. So the extension number here is 1001. The extension number here is 1002. This is the extension number of this phone. This is the extension number of this phone. This is the extension number of this phone. So I'm going to call this phone using this phone. So what I'm going to do, let me open them both so that we can see. Can see them all. Okay, we have IP phone 0, we have IP phone 1. So now I'm going to write the extension number of this phone, which is 1002, and call. It's ringing. So let's receive it. It's connected. Okay. So now let's try to call the other phone. We're using IP phone 10, IP phone 1 now. So the extension number of IP phone 0 is 1001. It's ringing. So that's it about this lab. So thank you very much for watching this video. I hope you also learned something. So there will be more videos to come, so stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe and to like the video.